My next guest returns to the cage for the first time since November of 2017 when he faces Tyson Miller at Uriah Faber's A1 Combat 17. He is Sinjen Smith. How's it going today, Sinjen?
Great, man. Been training all day, personally training all day. Got a little break right now, so this works out. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining me. So, just over 6 years ago since your last MMA fight, you haven't been just lounging around playing video games and watching Netflix. You've been in the gym, you've been cleaning up lakes and watersheds and making the world a better place. What made you decide now was the time to return to the cage?
Um, a few things, man. I got injured, a few years back, about 4 years ago, so that delayed some things. Even though I was trying to, I was always training, never stopped training. So whoever thinks they're going to be able to sleep on me is just mistaken. And I'm a very disciplined person, so I'd say just like the timing of it all is really aligning because of where my organization is right now, the organization I'm a part of, GreenVibe, and where my life is. I've I feel I'm in my prime. I've been assisting with my team and our newest UFC fighter, on the roster, which is Payton Talbott. He's keeping things alive for us all, and he's just a big inspiration to myself, and I think I can make a pretty big impact on our organization, GreenVibe, and that's one of the main reasons why I'm coming back, because we were at a pivotal point in our organization for growth, and I think I can get a lot of support, recognition, and potential funding for the nonprofit to help us move our mission forward.
Genius move, great marketing initiative there too. Thinking outside the box instead of just asking for donations or asking for help. Put yourself on a platform that's seen worldwide. We're going to
Yes.
touch on that initiative in a little bit too, because some of the stats are amazing, and I think it's going to really touch some people who hear about it. But you kind of mentioned Payton. Back in August, you were out at the Apex. Payton obviously came into the Contender Series, did what I thought he was going to do, beat Junior Cortez soundly. I don't know who thought it
Yeah.
was going to go the other way, but I digress. How was it, going out there for that event, being, in the trenches of the UFC, ultimately walking away with a win and a contract, and then even coming back again for his actual debut as well?
I'd say personally, it felt like any other fight. I've been in the MMA world since I was 16. Going on 15 years now. I've helped corner dozens of fighters, professional, amateur alike. I've obviously fought 10 times myself, and it was just cool. It was nice that it was to be in an organization so professionally organized and like structured to the schedule very well. Um, and then just going in there as if it was any other fight. Really, I don't think Payton puts a whole lot of pressure on himself. We don't put a whole lot of pressure on him. I think that is a great combination for one success, and it's he was just out, he was able to do his thing. Rick and I were there to support and allow Payton Talbot to be Payton Talbot, and that's what he does, man. He's a very special cat, and he's been able to do some pretty remarkable things as a professional and an amateur, and sure enough, rose to the top very quickly. I think a very, God, I lose words sometimes, but an impressive fashion.
Yeah, it's definitely,
Yeah.
stood out, and you kind of said it. His career so far has been incredible. So, no, he's obviously deserving of being where he's at now. But, on January 19th, you are back in the cage against Tyson Miller. He's just coming off his first loss as well. How do you see this matchup going? I don't want to say ring rust because it exists but doesn't exist. It's not like you said you haven't not been training. So how do you see this one going?
Um, I mean, first and foremost, I'm just happy that somebody and he accepted the fight. That's really cool. And I don't know too much about the dude. I've seen a couple of his fight highlights. Probably not going to try to kick him in the shin. Saw that Bellator deal, but I just see from his, like, see him as a just a younger prospect that doesn't have as much experience as I do. I was 25, 26 when I was last competing, and I think my 26-year-old self can win this fight against Tyson, and I very much believe I'm a much higher level now than I was then. I have a greater understanding about the sport of MMA. I have a greater understanding about my capabilities and about my relationship um, with the understanding of how this MMA sport works. So I train with high level guys, and I've been, and I go down to Sacramento occasionally to just test myself with the some of the best, and I I get nothing but great feedback and more belief in myself. I'm not trying to. I'm one who's a visionary. I foresee the future that I wish to create for myself. But I'm also not trying to put too much pressure on myself. I see my hand getting raised, and being on a stage again to express myself and what I believe and in sharing this this message about this green vibe that I'm helping spread. And
Awesome.
if I don't win, I need it doesn't even matter. There's not even a loss in my mind. I need to win in order to get my message out there. So that's just what's gonna happen. I guarantee it.
Awesome. And and talking about the initiative you're talking about, the nonprofit Green Vibe, looked up into it. Obviously, when you look you up, I think it's mainly what you see right now is you out there cleaning up the watersheds, and I start looking into the stats. As a collective, like Green Vibe has cleaned up over 54 tons of trash out of the northern Nevada watershed, which is just insane. Like that sounds a lot, but when you actually like Google what that looks like, that's just crazy. And in a way despicable of like that we allow that to happen to our water lines. Can
Yeah,
you run me through like how you became associated with them, and then like what you guys do as an organization outside of the facts I just spit out?
absolutely, man. And thank you for that, dude. I mean, I went through my own little awakening and like an unlearning, relearning, and remembering who I am and figuring out what my purpose is here instead of just like being a fighter. I committed a lot of my life to trying to set a or to pursuing a goal of getting into the UFC and making a career out of fighting. And there was a lot that was happening all at once. I even quit my job, started driving Uber, started my own little training business to try to get more time to dedicate to training in MMA. And I was coming back from multiple ACL surgeries, so injuries have been just a big part of my younger self and throughout my childhood up until I was like 25, and so overcoming that, and then sure enough, my fucking first knee was failing again. I tore my first ACL when I was freshly 17, and then came back from that, tore my second ACL when I was 20, just turned 22, had to have two surgeries on that ACL. And sure enough, when I was competing again, and like it feels like my first knee was just giving me so many problems, and to me it was just like I'm not making shit for money doing this right now, and I'm just I'm reverting back, it felt like. And I was like, what the hell am I doing with my life? So I started seeing, and then I started going down this road of getting to understand food and agriculture, and that started opening my eyes to some things in regards to nature. And I just started getting closer and closer to nature, and ultimately to myself, and to my true self, I think is what was happening. And then I just saw a problem. I saw like there's a whole lot of controversy surrounding like environmental issues, and I don't really know too much, honestly, um, about let's just say like CO2 gas emissions, climate change, and all of this stuff that is environmentally focused. But something I did see was that we have a pollution problem, and objectively, I believe you don't have to be a scientist to understand that pollution in our waterways is not good. So it seemed pretty simple, and I just started picking up trash by myself one day, like downtown in our hometown of Reno. And we have a beautiful river. It's a terminal river that connects Lake Tahoe to Pyramid Lake. So there is no outlet to the ocean. It begins in Tahoe, finishes in Pyramid Lake. And honestly, the amount of pollution that is occurring, and that is chemical, toxic, and in the form of waste pollution as well, that is detrimenting our watershed, and also the tribes and the people who live down in Pyramid Lake. There's indigenous tribes that still live there, and they're highly being affected as well. And I was just like, fuck, dude, I don't know what to do with my life, outside of fighting and the work that I was doing. So on my spare time, I would go down to the river, start picking up trash. I started gaining a little bit of momentum, just posting about it, and I started getting people wanting to join me. Then I was able to hold my first like larger community cleanup when I had roughly 30 people, and we all came together on what's called a World Cleanup Day, and that was back in 2019. And we were able to remove a substantial amount of trash. Then a few months later, I run into these dudes that looked like brothers. I have a brother, and they I just started having a conversation with them. We had a lot in common. Decided to go on a hike, and then figured out we had a lot more in common. One of them, who is the president of our board, his name is Walker Sauls. He started this organization called GreenVibe as a online education nonprofit platform surrounding environmental stewardship and environmentally um, like focused information on how we can transition to a lifestyle beneficial to both humanity and the planet. So we were like, oh shit, well, we got like two sides of the same coin deal going here. I'm doing the action side unofficially, legal, like entity wise, organizationally wise, and he has the status of a 501c3 nonprofit status for an environmental organization. So we all figured out that we should just join forces under the umbrella of GreenVibe. And my brother and myself, he and his brother were already on the board, but my brother and myself, we joined the board, and sure enough, we've held 35 community cleanups since then. And yeah, removed over 110,000 pounds of trash with over 900 volunteers in total who have helped spread this mission forward.
When I say 54 tons, it sounds a lot, but when you actually stretch it out to the 100,000, it's again, it's just despicable. Like it's trash that someone
Yeah.
was too lazy just to throw away, that they were just throw it in
Yeah.
the air and let it go. I
Right.
mean, speaking of your brother, great name, Zach.
Yeah.
um, alongside him too, you also founded a little organization called Regenerative Boxing.
Yeah,
Is that
man.
still ongoing?
It is ongoing. It's an online program that my brother and I created, and actually it was surrounding, or it was all sort of started, I mean, so to speak, by my brother. The idea, the concept was started by my brother. So my brother is the national champion boxer for UNR. He was the only UNR, the Nevada national champion of 2018, and it happened to be his last year boxing. And he was actually working for the St. Mary's Hospital and Fitness Center here in town as a personal trainer, membership manager, and he actually started the Parkinson's boxing program at this gym. Well, when the whole shutdown COVID thing happened, we decided to join forces, join our minds, and create an online program that we could help more people that are battling neurological diseases, neurodegenerative diseases such as Parkinson's, but also those who's battling the negative effects of aging and sedentary lifestyles. So we came up with the term regenerative boxing, trying to use boxing to help people regenerate their lives. And we do stimulate cognition in many ways throughout our program, but it's a very detailed and honestly a professionally well done program made by Zach and I, and it's 12 weeks, very progressively. It's a progressive program that we have online for the world, for that older generation and diseased generation to take advantage of.
Yeah, that one definitely stood out. So I did on my side, I worked with ARP for a while. So
Okay.
like I understand a little bit of the issues that come with age, because we would obviously market to that demographic,
Mm-hmm.
and not only the elder, I don't want to say elderly, the aging population mixed in with the Alzheimer's and um, the neurological ones. It just stood out,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of speaks to it as a whole, to like the kind of person that you are. Um, I don't want to dive into also where my research goes, but like your dad has said similar. I came across a lot of his posts as well on my research, and the whole family, I should say, seems to be very community focused.
For sure.
And you don't see a lot of that, and that's what really stood out. I obviously reached out originally for the fight, and then I was like, oh shit, there's like usually I have to dig to try to figure out who the other side of the fighter is, and in you it
Mm-hmm.
was straightforward, and then the fighter, um, which was a nice little change of pace usually. Um, and it all makes sense now too. Returning to the cage on UFC Fight Pass, you're going to get all the eyeballs.
Yeah.
Even if it's not on Fight Pass, it's going to be on YouTube, which is even easier because then everyone can see it.
For
Um,
sure.
with a promotion who actually utilizes social media, so even outside of the fight itself, you're going to be posted by Tom Anderson and the team itself, because they at least have the common sense to realize everyone lives on their phone nowadays.
Yep.
Put that there. So it's going to obviously benefit both, obviously GreenVibe and everything else that's involved with you, because when you win, everyone starts Googling who you are, and they're going to start seeing all these organizations as well. Outside of that, I mean, I like the fact that you're pretty straightforward. You have an idea in your head. You've seen it already, how the fight's going to go. It's your fight to lose, basically, is what I got out
Mm-hmm.
of it. Like, as long as you
Mm-hmm.
stick to your game plan, you're going to walk away with a win as well. Um, outside of that, it's going to be a little weird because we kind of touched on everything, but I want to pass the mic to you still.
Okay.
Um, let people kind of let people know where to find things like info on GreenVibe, info on Regenerative Boxing, info on yourself, and everything else you're involved in, because I'm sure there's a shitload more still. So the mic's all yours.
For sure, man. Hey, thanks a lot for like doing all the research that you have done, and I do it. I think you painted the picture pretty clear. I'm very um, passionate about developing community, especially in the city that I'm born and raised in. I love this place. I want to take care of this place. I want to get people united here and support local as much as possible, while cherishing the home that we live in and protecting it and loving it. So yeah, outside of that, man, coming back to fight so I can get as much support behind our nonprofit as much as possible. I have this dream of mine to eventually, like, we have multiple programs that are literally in development right now. We are not just a cleanup crew, but that is our bread and butter. We are known for this, and we have people that love to join us, that keep coming back and help us with this initiative. I mean, we're one of the, if not the only organization in our town that is addressing private land as we see that is a major issue. There's a lot of private land along the Truckee River. It's a 122-mile river, and that's that's a humongous stretch. We and it's not just people littering. There's a whole lot of contributing factors to this, and the homeless, houseless population is our big contributors to pollution in the river and along the riparian lands of the river. That's unfortunate, but we try to address that whole situation with empathy. We even team up with other local organizations, here in town. We're trying to collaborate, man. This is not like a competitive thing for us. Sure, when it comes to funding and writing for grants, stuff like that, like there's other organizations in this town that are doing great things and very similar things who've been established longer than we are, like Keep Truckee Middle's Beautiful. They've been around forever. But we want to collaborate because we still add a lot of value. We're young blood in this realm, and I think that we have the most energy. We have a strong reputation of like having these cool opportunities for people to join. Like we've even been told that we're the coolest organization in this town doing what we're doing. Like it's just cool. We try to make it. We've had DJs at our events, blasting music, strolling portable systems up and down like the site. We provide coffee and fruit and healthy snacks every single event, and it's just trying to get people connected to this issue. And this is just one issue, but it is a major issue. And if we can somehow get to the source of this problem one day, that would be amazing. Don't know how, don't have any answers to that yet, but at least we are addressing the problem at the stage that it's at now, with the intention to develop and grow, get support. Like I said, I have a dream. Like hopefully I can get the UFC behind this one day. I want to get MMA fighters behind this one day, and start like our organization's name is GreenVibe World. Like officially it is called GreenVibe World, and I want to spread this green vibe worldwide. That is ultimately my goal one day. I'm not going to be fighting for a long time. I'm trying to set myself up in a place, and set not just myself, but like my people, that we all work together as a team. We're trying to set us all up so we can be in a good position to fully dedicate our lives to this. I know I want to. Everybody on our board is dedicated to this, is a believer in what we do, and knows that we have a lot of potential to help change the world, and get people connected to nature, get people connected to environmental issues, as this is a humanitarian problem, but it's just a life on Earth issue that is one of the many issues that we as people have created. But I see it as a cool thing. Like, without these problems that we've created, well, we wouldn't have them the opportunity to try and solve them for us now and future generations. So I try not to get too emotionally affected by it. I have in the past. Like I've done a lot of learning myself, but honestly, man, I'm fighting for nature. That's this whole campaign. That's sort of my slogan. And I'm confident in my abilities. I'm confident in my mindset. I mean, I literally a year and a half ago attempted, like, I believe in this shit so much that I attempted to set a world record for the most pull-ups, push-ups, and squats in 24 hours, just to try to raise some money for our nonprofit. And I did it. I was fucking sick when I did it because I overtrained. I got sick literally the week of, and the worst of it was the day I attempted it, and I still just tried the best. I went for the full 24 hours, didn't hit the goal I wanted, but I still did a lot, raised like $7,000 for the organization, and that's what I'm fighting for, dude. And I'm excited. I'm very grateful that you had me on here, and I think we're gonna put on a good show. I'm super excited to get back in there. I've been eager. I've been ready for a long time, and you're gonna see the best version of myself, like, in the cage that there's ever been. Guaranteed.
January 19th, UFC Fight Pass. You're back in the cage. I'll link everything below. Best of skill. Thank you.